Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
It has been some time since I have drawn upon my experience as a correctional officer for 11 years.
It has been a while.
And I would like to talk about some things that I experienced because people are always like, you see fights? Did you see anybody get raped? No. But like one of our inmates died because they snuck in drugs and OD'd. And medical attention may have not been applied as fast as it should have, in my opinion.
What?
It's very important to get Narcan sooner rather than later. We'll just say that.
See, and that's probably why it wouldn't work out for me, because in that situation, be like, oh, let him fucking die. He's a loser.
Right. I'm doing chest compressions. What are you doing?
That's his foot.
All right, call it. He's dead.
Oh, bitch.
In our last episode, you referenced a girl that you said wore, quote, Rubbermaids.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So she wore those kind of fake silicone titty things in her bra.
Yep.
That would go between her boob and the bra.
Yeah, we went to what was called the Ice Age dance. It was a semi-formal. And at one point, her and I were dancing because I was dating her at the time. And I kind of, stepped back. I took a look, and I kind of looked down like, the fuck? Because things were kind of Picasso-y.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. I must have had a look on my face because she's just like, I need to go use the bathroom. And she shoveled off to the bathroom. And she, tapped one of our other friends on the shoulder. And so they both went in the bathroom together. And when she came back out later, everything was normal. That was when I started to realize, wait a minute, what the fuck? Is she stuffing a sock down there or something, And it wasn't until a few weeks later, we're starting to get into it. And
Quoting into it.
We're starting to have sex.
Oh, okay.
And I started to slide my hand up her shirt, up under her bra, and I felt what was not supposed to be there.
How did that make you feel?
I felt kind of bad for her because just I'm sorry you feel like you need to have bigger boobs, but I mean, I was okay with the size, I've never really been a boob guy. I was always more of an ass and leg guy. And boy, oh boy, she had that.
Because you can totally suck on an ass or a leg.
No, but it's just that's what I look at, I find attractive.
So. I like that your first emotion is pity for her.
Well, yeah, she feels so self-conscious that she felt it was necessary to stuff her bra when I don't need that. I don't need a girl that have big boobs.
Yeah, my first reaction would have been, what the fuck?
Sorry, that wasn't mine. But I didn't, once I went up there, I was just like, okay, I kind of backed off. I played it cool. I backed up nice and easy and never tried reaching up there again the rest of that particular session. So.
Once upon a time ago, we had a female inmate. And she wore one. Just one.
Ah, the one size bigger than the other, huh?
Oh, no. No. This was like 2 full cup sizes smaller than the other boob.
Gross.
Okay, that's definitely an anomaly.
Right, because they were searching her and they felt something, and then they took her in the bathroom to see what was going on. So she pulled out the falsie, the silicone little over the boob.
Falsie, yeah.
And they said it's somebody else's words, not mine, comically disparate in size.
I'm picturing a D on one and an A plus.
I think it was like a C to an A. Anyways.
Oh, wow.
That's not, the size difference is not why this story is funny. Because when she put it down, somebody noticed an aroma in the air. She was not a very cleanly woman.
Ew.
So we had this thing. And somebody said it smelled fucking terrible. I'm not going to name any names or give you an idea of how many people may have tried to smell this. But multiple people, when we had it in our possession, because we told her she had to take it out, people might have smelled it.
Oh, no.
You know when somebody says something smells awful, do you ever just go, oh, okay, I won't smell that? Or do you go, fuck, now I got to know what it smells like?
I'm more of the, okay, I don't need to know person.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You're never going to live life to the full extent if you keep wussing
No,
out
that's
like
like
that.
that's like when Mrs. Number One farts. I don't walk over there to get a smell.
Not every time.
Never.
Have you ever like secretly smelled her butt when you were about to mount her doggy?
No.
Really?
No.
I've done that to a few women.
No, you kind of get the sense of it when you're hovering over it anyways.
Sometimes you just gotta be like, all right, I'm just gonna approach, and you gotta do it really quiet. Just like, you can't go. You know, you gotta be less obvious about it when you're doing it that way.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so she had like one weird mutant baby tit.
There was one girl I was doing doggy style at one time. I swear to God, she had a wiping problem because it smelled really bad.
Interesting that you continued to fuck her after you noticed the smell.
Only for a couple more minutes. I'm just like, I can't do this. So let's switch positions.
Thank God she didn't ask you to 69.
Yeah, thank God.
And then fucking, like queefs while she's getting her fun hole tongued by you.
It's funny though, because that was the one time that I ever had that issue when I was her.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever after that, any time after that, did I ever have that. It was just that one time, but it was just like, it left an impression. Like, I
I would have said something.
didn't want to kill the mood.
Nope. You got to be like, hey, I want to completely continue fucking, but I'm just going to ask that you go to the bathroom and perhaps wipe both of your holes. I'm not going to tell you if it stinks or not. I'm not going to tell you if I noticed anything or not. I just do that and then come back and then we'll be good.
They're not coming back if you say that.
Well, too fucking bad. Get over it. You already got the engine started. It's time to drive her down the road. Fucking bullshit. Story number 2. There is this guy. And he's waiting to get out. It's his night to be released. And he keeps hovering around my desk. Because he's, he can't fucking shut up enough about how he's so excited to go home. Understandable to an extent.
Yeah.
Right? This guy clearly was like a NASCAR fan. Like your stereotypical NASCAR fan.
Did he have a mullet?
Let me look at my notes here. I wrote this many eons ago.
Because a NASCAR fan I picture with a mullet. Either that or a fucking shaved head.
I wrote
like, buzzed.
Dirty, yellow-toothed, four-eyed, and with a greasy beard, and he was near 50.
How you fellas doing?
I'm picturing a Packers fan.
It could be. It's a low blow. So he lets me know, and I forget how he broached the topic, that he has 3 ex-wives and 3 kids. And each of his kids are 10 months apart. He had his first child with his second wife, his second child with his third wife, and then his third child with his second wife.
No,
This is a guy that divorces somebody, and then he goes back and fucks her and knocks her up. And here's the best part. He tells me his current girlfriend, who's coming to pick him up, was the babysitter for his third wife. Like, babysat their kid.
Okay, they're both stupid.
So I told him about my uncle. Naturally, my uncle who used to drive race cars.
You're right, he is a NASCAR fan.
Yeah. Like, he mentioned I have 3 ex-wives and 3 kids. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got an uncle like that. He's got 3 ex-wives and 4 kids. So then this guy one-ups me by explaining the order of birth and the fact that he's now fucking someone that used to be a teenage babysitter for the child he had with his third wife before he went back and knocked up his second wife with their second
And
kid.
he left his third wife for the babysitter.
Yes.
She better be fucking gorgeous or rich.
Looking at him, she's not. I didn't even have to see her. I'm telling you right fucking now. 1988 Rachel Hunter did not get out of a Maserati to pick this motherfucker up. Some fat bitch in a Toyota Camry missing a hubcap with noticeable rust, or possibly in a Chevy pickup with huge dents in the side of it, showed up and fucking hugged him, and they went home and made fuck, and it smelled like hot dog water and cream of mushroom soup.
Ew.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we had some people that would, they were awarded STS. They could go to their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to go through security like a shit ton when they came back in. Anyway, this one kid comes back. Turns out he's the little brother of one of my elementary school best friends.
Okay.
So not only when he came in there, I'm like, I know you. You're not going to remember me by face. Maybe you will if I tell you my name. And I did. He's like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like, seriously, I still remember going to your house when you were a kid, and playing G.I. Joes with you and your brother, because we were obsessed with G.I. Joes, and your fucking dog, Coco. They had a dog named Coco. Mm-hmm. I still fucking remember that. What I didn't tell him is that his older sister that went on to play like semi-professional golf, that I totally wanted to tongue her fun hole. Holy Christ, she was good looking. And when I was in like elementary school, I was like, man, your sister is one hot piece of ace.
I had a friend, his sister was just absolutely gorgeous and athletic and everything like that. And one night he caught me staring at her. That kind of changed their friendship a little bit.
Why? What do you mean?
I don't think he liked the fact that I was taking an interest in his sister.
No.
I knew I never had a fucking prayer with her, but I couldn't help it but look.
Yeah, well.
I think she was about 3 years older than us.
Okay. Well, this girl was like 5 years older than us.
Okay.
Yeah, big family, 5 kids. Anywho's it. So he comes back from his job, and I have to send him up to his housing unit in the elevator. Mm-hmm. He gets on the elevator. I think everything's fine. 45 minutes later, I get a radio transmission. Hey, is so-and-so coming up, or what's going on down there? I'm like, I sent him up. And then I hear this metallic knocking sound. We had one wing of the building that was currently not in use. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker got off on the wrong floor, and you couldn't just hit the button to get in the elevator. You needed keys to turn on the elevator. So he's knocking on the fucking doors, hoping someone will hear him. And he tried knocking, allegedly, right away, but I didn't hear him because I was off, doing my rounds, checking on everybody. Mm-hmm. And I went back to my desk and was just waiting for whatever. So he went and sat down in the TV room on the floor that we weren't using and just like started napping in a chair. So then I hear the knocking on the elevator. I'm like, oh my Christ. So I call the elevator. I send it up to where he's at. The door's open. He goes back to where he's supposed to go. He comes out of the elevator. They're like, what the fuck is your problem? So the other guard on the floor that I wasn't on where he was supposed to go, the housing unit where he was, going to go sleep, they're like, wait a minute. I think he's on something. How do you make that mistake? So then we had to give him a drug test. My childhood friend's little brother.
And?
Well, it's negative.
Okay.
I mean, he was in there for like DUIs, not weed.
So he just took an opportunity to sit here and be like, man, I kind of fucked up this time. I'm going to sit here and just kind of think about all the bad things I've done and how I can change my life. Turn it around for the better. Get back on the straight and narrow path.
Yeah.
Or he was jerking it off alone in the dark.
No. But I probably should have seen him because we had cameras in that area. But he must have been just out of view. But he's like, yeah, I took a nap in the chair because I was so tired. And then I was waiting for someone to come get me. Like, well, if we don't know you're in the wrong part of the building, and holy shit, security breach.
Yeah, shit.
On the taxpayer dime.
Oh, yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, well, it was an honest mistake on his behalf. Shit happens. He was tired. It was late. I worked third shift. He came back at an ungodly hour. You hit the wrong button, it fucking happens. He's not as dumb as he may sound from that story. He's a good kid. Little problem with the drinky, drivey.
Yeah, at least it was that. It wasn't something else.
Right. This next motherfucker I'm going to tell you about, clearly borderline retarded.
Okay.
I go into a room. There's a gentleman. He's wheezing in his sleep. His arms are up. He's laying on his back and his arms are up in front of him. Like he's doing the fucking zombie walk. And I get him up and I make him come with me to the nurse's office to check his vitals. And his blood pressure is 143 over 105.
Ooh.
Yeah, not good. And his pulse is at 110, and he's sweating profusely. I mean, his pores are pissing sweat.
What's happening?
He goes to the ER. And when he gets there, they tell him he's got pneumonia. So that instead of sending him back to jail, they send him home.
Why not to the hospital? Well, he was in the hospital. Why didn't they admit him?
They told him he could go home and get better, and they gave him a date to report back to us. He was still going to serve his time. Mm-hmm. I tell you, man, the courts are screwy. Anyway, he comes back, and when he does, he's a week late. So he's already in trouble.
You would think on, like, day 2 that the cops would be at his place looking for him.
No. No, it doesn't work like that. Not unless he's got a warrant. I mean, we just put that he didn't show up to be intaked again. And wait to see what happens.
Tick-tock, motherfucker!
So when he shows up again a week late, he still sounds like a fucking St. Bernard. He is breathing worse than he was before. I mean, he is a short, fat man, and it sounds like he just got done running away from a bear well covered in honey. This motherfucker sounds like he's going to die in front of me. And then we ask him what's wrong with him, and he claims, I'm coming down off meth. I'm withdrawing. So he's got pneumonia. He's morbidly obese. And he's smoking meth.
Well, you know, some people just like to go the full 9 when it comes to ruining their lives.
I left out one important detail till the end.
What's that?
He's asthmatic. And he fucking smokes cigarettes and crank. Dude's only like in his late 20s. He's probably going to die at age 34 of a heart attack.
He's not going to be past 40.
If he's still alive, I'll be shocked, because he should have either died from a massive heart attack or overdosing because of his dabbling in the narcotics. But he's not the worst fatty we've ever had. We had a guy so fat once, he bent a bed. He plopped down in it, and there was like a permanent slight divot in the motherfucker. These beds are made out of steel. This 500-pound motherfucker. And I wish I could say that that's like the grossest fat fuck. No. No, because we had a fat woman. Not incredibly fat. Not necessarily rascal scooter at Walmart while she's driving around with a 24-pack of Coke and like 3 loaves of bread fat. But fat. Her center of gravity was slightly off. To the point where she fell down a few times. Just walking. She's fucking tipped over. Kind of like my mom did at my wedding. Just standing there in the sun, and then she like, I'm air quoting this, fainted. This bitch just falls over. Second time she falls down, she jacks her ankle. So she goes to the hospital to get x-rayed, and they put her in a fucking air boot walking cast. And she comes back, and we're bringing her meals to her room so she could eat in her bed. As opposed to eating in the community cafeteria space. And here's the fucked up part about that second time she fell down. It was in the last hour of one of my shifts. So I was like, I'm within probably 55 minutes of going home. It might have been less than that. And then that shit happens.
Yeah, you can't just leave in the middle of it.
Right. You know, so she's like 300 pounds, and she's basically an invalid now. And she wants help getting into bed. Well, she slowly leans back into the steel bed. She wants our help with that. And I'm thinking to myself, I've already had one hernia. I'm not fucking going under the knife again, bitch. You can figure out how the fuck you're going to get up and down. She wanted one person to hold her hands. She wanted me to put my hands on her back to help slow the lowering into the bed.
Oh, fuck no.
Right. I swear to God, if I would have put my hands on her back, they would have gotten swallowed in the fat. She was just no muscle tone.
Yeah.
Disgusting. She's like the Blob from X-Men. You know Blob?
No.
God, fuck you.
I know The Blob.
Yeah.
It's a fiction movie about a gelatinous thing that ate people, but...
Yeah. So she comes back, like I said, from the hospital. She's got that walking boot. She needed a wheelchair. And, because she couldn't get up and down fast enough to go to the bathroom, diapers.
Good God.
Diapers.
How old is this woman?
In her 50s, I think, maybe.
Deep.
And she wasn't bathing properly because of this, too. So she smelled fucking terrible. And I shit you not, one time she called me to call the nurse to help her change her diaper because she had soiled herself. And I went in the room to tell her the nurse was coming. And there is not enough Vicks Vapor Rub in the world to put anywhere on my body to mask the scent of fat woman unwashed gunt and poop and possibly her period. And eventually we just said, fuck it, and we sent her to a rest home for a while.
I don't get Mrs. Number One sometimes. Like, she was a nurse for a little bit at a nursing home or nurse health assistant or whatever. And I don't know how she did it. I worked in a nursing home for a while when I was a kid, and occasionally walking down the hallway next to an old person, you get a smell like, oh, they shit themselves. That I couldn't clean another old human being off. I can't. I could barely do it to my children.
Yeah, there's some nasty poops. For instance, last night, Junior sitting in his little chair, half dome chair thing. I don't know what the fuck you call it. And I just hear this squirty poop. I'm like, God damn it. And my 2-year-old's laughing at him. It was just me and those two. Mm-hmm. So I change him. And after I change him, I lay him back down there watching Sesame Street. I see her. She squats down. She's sitting on the backs of her heels. And then I hear her make even worse sounding squirty farts. And I'm like, are you pooping? She's like, no, I'm not pooping.
Liar.
Really?
Liar.
You're not pooping? She's like, I'm pooping. No shit, Sherlock. I could fucking hear it over here.
I think she's ready for potty training.
Well, yeah, obviously. We're trying to get there. But, she's in the living room. I'm in the kitchen. I'm fucking 15 feet away from her. And I hear the farts. And they were not dry farts. And so I wait a few minutes. And then I go over there and I'm like, oh my God. She smelled like she had eaten only burritos and yogurt for 3 days. And it was like fucking pea soup, green and runny. And soaked through her pants because it went out the side of her diaper while she's squatting, by the way. Still didn't smell as bad as that fat fucking bitch I just talked about at the jail. So I clean up my 2-year-old, and she goes in the bath. And I'm like, you know what, Junior? I'm washing your ass, too. Because breast milk poops are orange. And he took a diabolical shit. So I washed them both. And then I had to burn sage to get rid of the scent in the fucking living room. From her. Not even from the both of them. Just her. Still not worse than the fat inmate lady with the unwashed pussy and the fucking diarrhea diaper. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.